it is in the Bible that we do find answers to our questions according to the perfect will of God, and it's an encouraging time to turn to the Bible to look for biblical answers, because God is opening up His Word to reveal many things that are found therein. And we've been witnesses of this, we've experienced this, that the Lord has revealed many things that we just never knew, that nobody knew prior to this time, because it's the time of the end. It is the end stage of Earth's history, and that's exactly where we're at, where we're living. Time is running on, and we were incorrect. We were wrong to think that 2011 would be it. And we've learned since then that the biblical information, the biblical evidence, is pointing to the year 2033 in a way that is, it's not a year that has just a little bit of support, but it's a year that has an incredible amount of support that is being pointed to by the biblical evidence in a very strong way. And when we look back at the first coming of Christ, we see a pattern that is in place, and a pattern that we are within the framework of right now, and it's continuing to unfold year by year, year by year. Even if we only had the one fact that Christ died and rose from the dead and completed His coming in the year 33 AD, and 2033, obviously, is 2,000 years from that point, that alone would be sufficiently strong for us to look to the year 2033 with good expectation for our own resurrection. But it's not alone. There are about 3 dozen time paths, probably 10 or 12, that are equally as strong, others that are supporting. But it is an enormous amount of biblical evidence pointing to that year of 2033. And here we are right within the pattern. And the pattern from creation to the first coming of Christ was how long? How long was it? 11,013 BC was creation plus 33 AD. Because you always add AD dates to the Old Testament date, the BC date. So you get 11,013 plus 33 equals 11,046 calendar years, 11,045 actual years. Now do the same thing with 2033 from creation. 11,013 BC plus 2,033 equals 13,046 calendar years, 13,045 actual years. That's the same time pattern, only a 2,000-year difference. And we know the Bible points to 2 major time epochs. 11,000 years in the first coming, 13,000 years in the second coming. And that is a major time path. From creation to the year 2033 matches up perfectly as it did from creation to 33 AD. And we're looking back at something that God has fulfilled. He fulfilled 33 AD. So that means 11,046/45 years is a very excellent time path because it was fulfilled. Likewise, 13,046/45 is a very excellent time path because the Bible points to the end of the world after 13 as it pointed to the coming of Christ after 11. And that's just another supporting, strong time path to go along with Christ, the 2,000 years exactly from 33 AD. And so we have to acknowledge that we're looking forward at this point in time to a date that has just incredibly strong biblical evidence to support it. Much stronger than 1994. And the date of May 21, 2011 was locked in with 2 or 3 time paths, and God necessarily locked that in because it had to be proclaimed in a certain way in order that man prepare himself for the battle of Judgment Day. And that was all God's doing. And there's no need for us to declare with certainty anything about the year 2033. We'll just keep saying biblical evidence because it is indeed biblical evidence. But we can say that this date is the strongest yet. So it's not as though we're settling for something and, we're just desperate for a date, so we throw another one out there. Some people are doing that every year, but that's not what we're doing at all. The year 2033 is the best yet. This is the one with the most evidence yet. And, of course, it's also something that people who are not truly God's elect are going to pay no attention to because they've had it. They're tired of it. They're not going to give any credence to it at all.
And actually, they're doing so according to the prophecy of God. God testified back in Luke 21, verse 26, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. That's an incorrect translation. Literally, it is telling us men's hearts growing cold from fear, or waxing cold from fear and from looking after those things which are coming on the earth. Now, when you wax cold from something, it means you're no longer doing it. They're not afraid, in other words. They're going away from fear. They're moving on from looking after these things.
And since God has saved everyone to be saved, there's no need for a certain sound of the trumpet in order that man take warning. That's all past, which is fine. It's none of our business what people who aren't God's people do. God will take care of them. And again, it's not the point. We're not trying to warn anyone. We're not trying to get the attention of the ungodly, the unsaved. What good would it do? Even if they heard and believed, it wouldn't save them. They could not experience salvation no matter how much they did accept it. We're not trying to warn anyone about the end of the world. May 21, that's over and done with. It would accomplish nothing as far as people's preparation, individuals who would take warning, because no one any longer can take warning in order to be translated out of darkness into light. The filthy, whether warned or not warned, they cannot become righteous. And the righteous, whether warned or not warned, will remain righteous still. So it's a completely different period of time as far as warning anyone. So that's not our focus at all. Our focus is to feed God's sheep and also to let them know that it's a grievous time period. It's a time period wherein we'll be severely tested, but there's an end to it. There is an end to it. The concluding day is coming, and we'll endure if we're truly God's people because He'll make sure we endure. Yet, it's a little bit of comfort, a little bit of encouragement that, the day is approaching. And when that end does come, it'll conclude with the resurrection.